As the sun rises across the Dakotas, so does a new spirit. United Methodists throughout the Dakotas Conference are dreaming about the future and getting ready to thrive. Thrive, Strength for Today, Hope for Tomorrow, is a three-part plan for congregational development. One part is starting new churches.
Fusion is a new church located on the campus of Dakota Wesleyan here in Mitchell, South Dakota. We're intentionally located on the campus of a United Methodist University because we were birthed out of a campus ministry. We've taken college students and community members and we've joined forces to reach the next generation for Christ.
We designed worship services to be easily accessible for people that don't go to church regularly, and that's been very effective. Another thing is that we do community missional outreaches. So we're involved in Habitat for Humanity and other kinds of community outreaches. The third is we have very regular, almost monthly, different community events.
I keep coming to Fusion because it's exciting and upbeat. The music is fun, and the sermons and services really help me be excited about God and enthusiastic about my worship. And I think that's something that I want in a church. As a single person, I enjoy coming to Fusion because everybody is so welcoming, meeting you at the door every week and welcoming you in. There's all the service groups and core groups that you can join and meet other people. There's lots of young people around.
The gathering is really a group or a gathering, appropriately called, of people of all backgrounds that have really organically come together to find a place that they could feel safe and welcome. Sunday morning is only one facet of it. We have people that have never been to a Sunday morning worship, but they've been at other events such as beer and hymns or a Bible study or faith discussion, pub talk, other events. New church starts are really great to be able to connect with people in a way that is really renewed and is not bound by some of the legacy and traditions that maybe an existing church is.
The United Methodist Church is in the business of saving and transforming lives. I am standing here at Faith United Methodist Church in Minot, North Dakota. Faith has a rich history that dramatically changed course in 2011. The congregation lost their church building to a devastating flood. The church has restarted with a new church home and new ministry to reach people and transform lives. From the early days of the Methodist movement in England, to the circuit riders who extended the movement into the Dakotas, to the current stories you are hearing, we are a God movement that changes lives. The Thrive campaign is all about focusing our energy and resources on saving lives, on reaching and discipling new people, on helping individuals from a variety of diverse cultures and backgrounds grow in love of God and neighbor, on joining Christ's mission of redeeming and healing a broken world.
Thrive is about strengthening existing churches. The Missional Church Consultation Initiative, MCCI, is an intensive coaching process. Fargo First United Methodist Church is one of the 10 churches engaged in MCCI.
MCCI is a process that integrates many of the different church transformation, church revitalization techniques, processes that we've known for years. A congregation is helped to look in depth at who they are, what their ministries are. One of the pieces that we learned that was pretty shocking to us is we have about 98,000 children. It's a huge number of children. And even if all of the churches in this area were reaching those children and their families, it would be one thing, but they're not.
Part of the prescriptions is focusing on a signature ministry, and in this case, children youth ministry. We've got lots of young families with kids of a variety of different backgrounds and economic statuses, and so we wanted to be able to build something that they all felt safe and comfortable. One of the things we wanted to do is create spaces that really were a part of our vision for investing in our families and our kids.
I visualize the fact that walking down the hallways on a Sunday morning and seeing the Sunday school rooms full, and I think I visualize more than anything just the overall enthusiasm of people seeing the church come back to life again.
MCCI has brought excitement and renewal to Sioux Falls First United Methodist Church.
We began to talk through what does breakthrough prayer mean, what would it mean for our church. It's really about asking God to literally perform a miracle and breakthrough in the life of your church. I had a prayer team that met on Mondays. We began to talk through what does breakthrough prayer mean, what would it mean for our church. And about 100 of our people said that they would prayer walk their neighborhood once a week. Our council did a special evening where we did just a prayer session where we circled the sanctuary 7 times. It's really called us to a sense of how do we move forward as First United Methodist Church in the downtown area.
And hope is a big factor, you know, and we've prayed a lot to work in this new direction. We have a long way to go. We're just getting started, but it really is an important new day.
What I've seen is a real energy in regards to the committees, the subcommittees. Everybody's working in a common direction now for First United Methodist Church. And I think the future's bright with those prescriptions.
Lives are being transformed here at Sioux Falls First. The Thrive campaign will allow us to invite churches to be part of the transformation we so desperately need in the Dakotas. Nearly 60% of Dakotans are not currently part of a faith community. When my grandparents' generation reached adulthood, 90% of them were involved in a faith community. When my parents' generation reached adulthood, it was 70%. For my generation, I am a baby boomer, it is 50%. When my 3 sons reached adulthood, the percentage involved in a faith community had dropped to 30%. It is estimated by the time my sons' children, my grandchildren, reach adulthood, only 10% of them will be involved in a faith community.
Thrive is about equipping and developing new leaders.
The exciting part for us is we feel like God has blessed and honored what we've tried to be doing here and has raised up these leaders and brought these folks to us. And I think that every person needs to have a mentor and to be a mentor.
The opportunity that I have here that's been given to me by Legacy and by the church is just, I can't express enough appreciation for the opportunity that's been given to me.
It takes leaders. It takes somebody to stand up and say, I will, or this is where we're going to go, this is what we're going to do. And nothing happens without leadership. And so leadership development is the future of the church.
Like Legacy, Embrace Church in Sioux Falls is leaning in to grow the next generation of leaders.
Roger at Cornerstone Methodist called and said, we're thinking about starting a church and we're wondering what your thoughts are. And I was like, who are you thinking of being a part of it? And as nicely as he could say it, he's like, that's why I'm calling you. Leadership at Embrace, it really happens, I would say, more organically than anything. We are constantly trying to raise people up to be small group leaders.
When I started attending Embrace, I had this background, did some ministry, so I started leading a small group in T. Well, over a couple of years, this group started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think it was about 2 years after I'd been at Embrace, I started as our executive pastor. One thing that just aided my growth was just stepping out in faith. And also just, I think, being under the leadership of Adam has really helped me.
The thing I love about leadership is when you step out in faith, God is faithful and every time meets us there. It's scary, it doesn't make sense, it's irrational, and yet every time we take a step out, God faithfully meets us in that place.
Here at Encounter, a new church start in Watertown, South Dakota, there is a plan to reach the children of today and tomorrow. Thrive, Strength for Today, Hope for Tomorrow, is about creating a church for your children and grandchildren, for my children and grandchildren. Shar and I invite you to join us in leading the way. We believe God has brought this initiative and all of us together for a time such as this. What we do will shape the future of the United Methodist movement in the Dakotas. So let's join our hearts and our hands to reach our children, grandchildren, and the next generations, to renew our congregations with Christ-inspired passion and purpose, and to rejoice in the breakthroughs of God's Holy Spirit in our lives, our churches, and our communities. Thank you. Thank you for your faithful and fruitful leadership and your extravagant generosity.
We were